And that day I just entered the bedroom, I locked the bedroom from inside, and Vijay, that day I just robbed that piggy bank for that 20 rupees. We had all the option of giving up that day because that was a limit. There was an emotional limit for us to do anything. Because imagine a parent robbing the piggy bank of his son and going for a meeting.
This is episode number 23 of The Inspiring Talk with entrepreneur and storyteller Praveen Wadalkar. Welcome guys to The Inspiring Talk. My name is Vijay Gautam. I'm host for this show. Each week I interview today's most successful and inspiring personalities to help you realize your inner potential. Hey there, thank you very much for joining me in this yet another awesome episode of the Inspiring Talk podcast. First thing first, I have this podcasting workshop in Mumbai. So if you are in Mumbai, block your calendar for 25th of February 2018. In this one full day workshop, I will walk you through the entire process involved in launching your own podcast, right from coming out with idea and publishing episode number 1 and everything that comes in between. If launching your own podcast is one of your goals for 2018, this workshop is for you. You will learn everything you will ever need to launch your own awesome podcast. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from me. You can find more details and grab your pass for this event by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/workshop. And I'm limiting number of participants to only first 30 because I want to give individual attention to each one of you and help you launch your own podcast. So block your seat right now by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/workshop. That is theinspiringtalk.com/workshop. Guys, I'm super pumped for my guest for the day, Praveen Wadalkar. Praveen is a co-founder and CEO of Techizer Tech Solution, a highly specialized healthcare IT consulting firm whose presence is felt in over 100 companies across the Asia. He is a storyteller by passion and has shared his stories in different platforms including 2 TEDx talks, his talks on Someone's Watching Me, SWM disease, a condition where we change our decisions just because we think what people will think about us, has been well received by viewers. He is also an author of the book Stop Taking Medicines, where he explores the issues of medicine non-adherence so as to raise awareness. In this episode, Praveen talks about how he built invincible mindset upon his son without preaching him, how he was able to take his company to different part of the world by robbing his 6-year-old son's piggy bank, why Praveen used random chats to decide his next responsibility in his office, the emotional moment of hugging his dad for the first time in 30 years, and how important executing the first thought is, and a lot more. Guys, make sure you share this episode with your friends by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/23, that is 23. Now, without further ado, let me welcome the one and only Praveen Wadalkar. I'm super pumped for this one, guys. Praveen Wadalkar is here chatting with me today. Hey, Praveen, welcome to the Inspiring Talk.
Hi Vijay, thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure in having you here, brother.
Thank you.
Your life journey is pretty interesting and you have come along a long way. And I really enjoyed your TED Talk. It was pretty interesting and you have very beautifully put forth the idea of SWM, Someone's Watching Me disease.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will talk about that in greater details in a while.
Sure.
So I'd like to begin this interview from your early days in your life. Please share a bit about your upbringing. What was your childhood like?
Okay. My childhood was very interesting. I think there's something which there are few incidences of my childhood which really shaped my life. If I go back to my memory lane, the one incident which is very close to me when I was in 9th standard, and I failed in 9th standard. And then I decided to run away. I remember me and my friend, whole summer vacation before the results, we used to discuss what we should do if you fail. And we knew that we are going to fail. So we decided to run away to Mumbai, and I think I spent 3 days in Mumbai on platforms.
Where did you come from? Where you used to live?
Nasik. I used to, my native is Nasik. So I did my schooling from Nasik.
All right.
So when I came back after 3 days from Mumbai, I think that was one incident which is very close to my heart. And I realized in those 3 days is that I really missed my family, and I came very close to my family after that incident. But after that, I think I realized the importance of staying with family, importance of studies. And the same guy who failed in 9th standard was ranked 1 in 11th standard.
Wow.
Thank you.
How did that shift or change happen? Was that those 3 days that turned your life, or the maturity that you gained, or what was that?
No, honestly speaking, as a storyteller, I practice honesty whenever I share stories. So honestly speaking, I remember one day my mom told me that, Praveen, I have my brother, elder brother, and he's very good in studies. And one day my mom told me that, Praveen, see, he's good in studies, he will become engineer, and he will get good wife, good job, and you are doing nothing in your life, and your life will be completely messed. And that one conversation with my mother somehow stuck me, and then from that day I started studying. So that's the honest answer to your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I studied a lot, I think. But I think if you see my educational journey, 11th standard was the only year where I really gave my really hard work. Otherwise, it was a very average educational journey. I did my graduation in pharmacy, and that too from a very small interior called Loni. It's a place near Shirdi, 28 kilometers away from Shirdi. And our family background was not that rich that we were not planning for MBA or something like that. A graduation was the limit, and all were waiting. My parents were waiting that when we will do the graduation and join the job.
So what did your parents do?
My dad, actually, when he was 17 years old, or 18 years old, in fact, he joined Indian Army, and then he served Indian Army for almost 30 years. And after 30 years, when he left the army, got retired, he's not very well educated. He just completed his 3rd standard. So when a guy who just completed 3rd standard, when he retired from Indian Army, there are not many job opportunities. So my dad then decided to become a rickshaw driver.
Yeah.
And then he drove rickshaw almost for 10 years to manage the education and manage the family expenses.
Oh.
So half the life he did serve Indian Army, but then after that, for a long period of time, he was driving a rickshaw.
So you said in your TEDx talk that you didn't tell people that your dad was a rickshaw driver. What did you say when somebody asked, what does your dad do? What were those excuses, or maybe, what were those lies?
I think the best excuse was my dad is an ex-serviceman, or he's an ex-army man. He fought wars, and what he's doing right now, nothing. It's like he just retired now. Whenever someone used to ask me that, what your dad, I used to say that he's an army or he's an ex-army man. I never used to share with them about rickshaw.
How long did it take for you to realize that, why the hell should I hide this thing?
For a long period of time. I think when I completed my graduation, I joined a company called Cipla, a pharmaceutical company. There also, I don't remember I sharing about my dad. I used to hesitate to share about my dad. And even after graduation for 4 to 5 years, when I was in my job, then I used to avoid, or I used to hesitate to share about his identity.
So what are some of very important traits or qualities that you acquired from your dad and want to pass on to your kids? By the way, how many kids do you have?
I have only one.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I would say 2. One is, of course, my son Arnab, and then I have a dog named Ziki. So Arnab is 11 years old and Ziki is 6 months old now.
Yeah. So what are some of those traits that you acquired from your dad that you want to pass on to your kids?
I think the first most important thing which I have learned from him is that As a rickshaw driver, he always used to tell me that Praveen, there's always someone waiting for you at next stop. So don't just give up. Just go. Just move on. Just move on. So
Mm.
he never see he had all the opportunities of giving up in his life. See, he served Indian
Mm-hmm.
Army for 30 years, and many of his friends, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't do anything after that, or they did a very
Mm.
simple job. He had all the opportunities in his life, saying that okay, even I will do a very simple job of 2,000 3,000 rupees, and maybe you just don't go for a good education, just go for average education. But I remember he worked hard. He worked hard for 12 hours, 13 hours, just to ensure that me and my brother we get a good education.
Mm.
So he didn't give up. So one thing which is the heart of the story for everyone's life is that no matter what kind of situations we are, if you don't give up, then we are always a winner.
Mm-hmm.
So that maybe that value, I'm not in a favor of giving values to kids at so early stage, because it's better they just observe and learn rather than we teaching them. But yes, if I want to develop one value from in my son is of course is that value which he should develop and never give up, and he is actually developing this. Let me share one story with you.
Yeah, sure.
We all are mountaineers at home. If you are
Mm-hmm.
aware about HMI, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. So I am a A certified HMI certified mountaineer. My wife is A grade HMI certified mountaineer, and we also promote mountaineering with my son Arnab.
So it seems to me that this mountaineering trait come from your wife. It
Yes,
seems to
yes.
me that she comes from a Buddhist background, and
Yes, yeah,
I just realized that when you
yeah,
said that
yeah,
your wife is also certified. Yeah, please
yeah.
go ahead.
So I remember last year Arnav went to Himalayan trek. There's a trek which is around 14,000 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a 10 days trek. He went alone with the group. We were not there, and it's called Dharwa Top.
Mm-hmm.
And he reached around 12,000 feet just one night previous when they were going to go do summit, and he got ill that night,
Mm-hmm.
and he was
Mm-hmm.
had fever. And once you reach 12,000 feet, you can't contact, the phones are not working, you cannot contact parents back. So he was sharing this with me when he came back. When we were going from airport to home, he was sharing this with me. So he said, I got ill, and then I thought many of other co-trekkers, even they decided to stay back and not go on the top next morning. And only few were going. So I went to my instructor. I said, okay, sir, I have fever, I have cough, what I should do. So his instructor said, just you decide, you take a decision. If you want to go up, then just give your best, don't give up, which I have learned from my dad. But
Mm-hmm.
next day, 6 a.m. in the morning, he got up and he decided to go. So I asked him, why Arnav? You had all the option of staying back, not to go, take rest. There were other co-trackers with whom you could have taken rest on that day. So he said, Dad, I reached 12,000 feet, and reaching 12,000 feet was like going or winning the semi-final. And once I have win the semi-final, then how can I give up? I have to play for finals. So I decided to go. So this is something which I think we have never taught these values, because I don't think that values can be, we can teach value to kids. They have to just observe and learn from the family and friends and the world. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So maybe many parents listening to this would love imbibing that kind of mindset in their kids. Which is very crucial to make your kids understand that everything is possible and you should not give up. So how do you imbibe this? Maybe if you have some instances in your mind, or like I did this, so maybe from there my son has acquired or learned that skill. So what do you do to imbibe those skills?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. As I told you that I remember Sachin Tendulkar's mother once she came on the stage, and she's very hesitant to come on the stage. Many of us have not heard Sachin Tendulkar's mother. But there's a very rare interview available on YouTube where the host asked Sachin Tendulkar's mother that how it's possible that such a legend, such a big guy, and we heard that whenever he speaks with a rickshaw driver also, or with a coolie also, a very small guy also, he speaks very respectfully. What you have done, how you have what kind of upbringing you have given, or what kind of values you have given to him. And she said very clearly that you cannot teach values to kids. The kids just observe and they decide what value they should pick from the family. This is exactly what we are doing in our life. Me and my wife, we are just working hard. We are just, whatever we are taking decisions, we are sticking to it. We are stretching our limits. So he's just observing his parents and then he's picking values from that. So I don't remember me and my wife sitting with my son and teaching them this is correct, this is wrong. No. Let me give one example. I'm a runner. I'm a half marathon runner, and I do a half marathon in less than 2 hours.
Wow.
And I run a lot. I run at least 100 kilometers per month as a part of my training.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, and to do 100 kilometers, I have to run at least 4 days in a week. So 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers. That's a cycle.
So where do you want to run just before this interview?
I run in the night.
You run in night.
Yeah, I run in the night around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So once I go home, and if I am tired, I definitely run, because once I run, I feel fresh.
Yeah.
So it was monsoon. It was raining a lot, and my son said, "Dad, don't go today. Don't go for a run." So I said, "Son, it's not about running. I took the decision that I will go for a run today. It's all about sticking to my decision. So I'm sticking to my decision, son." And this is always in his mind. Once decision taken, then we have to stick to it. So I never sat with him, teaching him that what is the importance of decision making. I did something from which he has learned.
Yeah. This example makes a perfect sense. That's something that I really wanted you to share with my audience, because a lot of parents, what they do is sit down and give hours of lecture on being disciplined, having that winning mindset, and at the end, what they are doing and their action does not map to what they are speaking, right?
Correct.
So this is something that really we should be looking forward as a parents to imbibe those kind of traits in our kids, right?
Correct.
That should be be someone that you want your kids to be. That is very powerful. That was very powerful, Praveen.
Thank you.
Now, Praveen, you talk a lot about a disease that is widespread, and each one of us are suffering or must have encountered, in our life, and it's called SWM, someone's watching me disease, right? So, what do you think? Why do you think, rather, we are so concerned about others' opinion?
See, someone watching me disease is, on surface, it sounds okay, is a simple disease. But if you go deep, especially in this country, there are girls who are being pushed in wrong marriage because of SWM disease. There are kids who are being pushed in wrong education because of SWM disease. I remember even if you take my marriage also, even when I was a child, my mom used to tell me that, "Praveen, do anything but don't even think for intercaste marriage." And we are a hardcore Hindu people, and she said very clearly that don't even think intercaste, and even in your wildest dream, don't even think to marry a Buddhist girl. And then I fall in love with a Buddhist girl.
Yeah.
Right. And I faced a huge problem in my life because of that. I remember in my marriage, there were hardly 4 to 5 people from both the side.
Right. Were your parents there?
My parents finally agreed. My parents finally agreed that, okay, if you have taken the decision, take the decision. But they were against it, but they said, okay, go ahead. They didn't stop me.
All right.
So I think SWM disease is really impacting many lives in India. And somewhere people have to believe that you have only one life, and people should not decide that what you should do in your life. Until unless you're not harming someone physically, mentally, and emotionally, everything is correct.
Yeah.
So you have all the rights of deciding your own dreams. Doesn't matter you are an engineer and you want to do a photography, or doesn't matter you are a Hindu or want to marry a Buddhist girl or a Muslim girl. Doesn't matter. It's like your life. You should decide what you should do, not people. And that's why I'm writing even my second book on SWM. I'm actually finding stories where people have overcome SWM disease, and they're example for others, that you should live for yourself, not for others.
So, how can one come out of this? I won't say life-threatening, but I would like to call this as a potential suppressant disease, that doesn't allow us to express ourselves to the best of our ability. So how can we come out of this?
How to come out? Even in my TEDx talk, I have tried to explain this.
I really
Yeah,
love that
yeah. So,
last scene where when you put your sunglasses.
yeah,
That was like spectacular.
thank you.
Yeah, guys, if you have not checked his TEDx talk, go ahead and check that TEDx talk. Lot to learn, and he has put it forward very beautifully what is SWM and how you can come out of that. And no doubt Praveen is a very phenomenal storyteller, so he uses that power in that TEDx talk.
Thank
So
you.
maybe I'll link that on the show notes of this episode,
Sure,
so you may
sure.
like to check the show notes.
Sure.
Yeah, Praveen, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think the easiest way to come out from this is to to realize or to accept it that no one is watching you. World is busy, right? Just this is your
Mhm.
inside fear, a lack of fear or lack of passion that is stopping you. And most of the time, which I have seen also, that people normally use this as an excuse
Mm,
that I don't want to do this because what people will say.
mm,
Imagine when I was doing very well in my life, and I was a senior marketing manager in a multinational company, and then suddenly I decided to quit the job.
mhm.
Now the first thought came in my mind that what people will say,
Yeah.
that he's doing so good and why he want to quit the job and start his own business where he has no experience of business. No one in our family did business. You know about my family background.
Hmm.
But then it's our life, it's my life. I have to decide. So answer to this question, that how to manage SWM disease, is to first accept it, that someone is not outside, that someone is inside. Don't use this excuse in life that just what people will say, what they will say, that's why I don't want to do this. Just do it.
Go ahead, do this.
Yes.
Yeah, you really made a very good point here when you said the one of the very crucial thing about SWM disease is just making or fooling yourself, saying that nobody is watching at you. And for the matter of fact, on December of 2012, I met in this accident where I had to undergo surgery on my left eye because of corneal aberration. And I normally wear these power glasses, and when my stitches were on my eye, I couldn't wear those glasses. And as it broke on that accident, and I had not got a new one yet, as I was waiting to recover, and then I will get those new glasses with new power. So I got this cheap black sunglasses, pretty something like very aged or old people wear, right? So when I had to go out to see doctor with my dad, I wore those glasses, which I would have never would have considered wearing. So if I was normal, so since I was in that circumstance, and one thing that stuck to my head when I came back home is why the hell I was not so concerned about what other people thought of me. It was insane, right? I was wearing that weird sunglasses and still not afraid of being judged. Why? And then I realized that was not because those people were not looking at me and giving those looks that we all are afraid of, but it was I was not able to see them, as my left eye was sealed and the other one right had blurry vision. And the reason why people around me were not visible to me, I mean, it was not like they were not looking at me, but I was just not looking at them, right? So my eyes were creating an kind of illusion that there's no one around me. So since I made it my mantra that nobody's looking at me, everyone is so busy thinking that what other people are thinking about them, they are not thinking of me.
Yes.
So and that has been my mantra, and that has helped me to fight this SWM at certain instances, right? The first feeling is always going to be like what they might think, and another thing is like conscious effort to change that and say they are not looking at me, and then that just switch the kind of your perspective of your brain. So yeah, just I wanted to add that. So I just recall this incident.
Correct. Right. And I must share this, that it's such a good feeling. Even this example is such a beautiful example. It's such a good feeling when you are liberated, you are free. You are out, and then you're not worried about people. You're not people conscious. In your heart, you know that you're not doing something wrong. You're just living the moment. And such a liberated feeling. But I feel very concerned about those people who are always worried about what people are watching me and what people will say this, and their action, their movement is all influenced by what others are watching me. I think that is captivity.
It's not freedom, and guys,
It is
you
absolute
must know
captivity. There is not freedom.
nobody gives a about how you look,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So because they are too busy thinking about themselves. Sorry
Exactly.
for doing that, but yeah.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to
yeah.
make sure that you understand this very well. So guys, stop thinking what people are thinking, because they are not thinking.
Right. They are not thinking about you.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So coming back to your journey,
Correct.
you went on to start your own venture. Where did you get that inspiration of starting your own company?
Okay, now that's a very interesting question now, and let me give a very honest answer to this. It's like me and my wife, we were doing very good in our life. She was a senior manager in Aristo Pharma, and I was a senior manager in Milan. No liabilities, nothing, no home loans, no sister waiting for marriage, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And life was very cool. We were flying every month. We were staying in five-star hotels, and well settled in Mumbai. And one day, I remember we were just watching one movie called Rocket Singh.
Ah,
I don't know whether you have seen that movie or
yeah,
not.
yeah. I have seen. Yeah.
So those
I
were
hope you
not.
didn't use company's telephone to start your company.
No, I
Anyways.
didn't use. Yeah, but that movie was very simple message that a common man can build a company. And I still remember after watching that movie, we looked at each other and I said, "Dear, can we build a company?"
Mm-hmm.
And within a 6 month, we both
Mm-hmm.
quit the job and we started a company.
That was a huge risk. I was anticipating that one of you must have left, and one of you were there on a helpline. Like if something goes wrong, I'm here to support because I have this job. But I mean, that's a huge risk that both of you quit your job.
Yes,
Then what happened?
that happened something which was not expected. We did a lot of mistakes and most of the first generation entrepreneurs, they do these kind of mistakes, because I meet a lot of entrepreneurs now. I spend a lot of time with startups also now, and I always share this few mistakes which I have done. One of the biggest mistake people do, especially those who are first generation entrepreneurs, they start something where they have no experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you see, me and my wife collectively, we had spent around 20 years in pharma marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We were expert in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and we started something on recruitment.
Ah.
I remember in 2011, there was a boom of Naukri.com and Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a tech guy, even though I did graduation in pharmacy, but I love technology.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a product manager, as a marketing manager, I used to do a lot of campaigns which is technology based when I was doing job. So I thought there is a huge scope of developing a recruitment website which is only for pharma. Now, I had no experience of recruitment. Recruitment is completely different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And we had used all collective 20 years of learnings and earnings to build this business.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a team of around 3 to 4 people, and it was very difficult to manage that business. It's like we were getting some revenue from one or two companies, but very difficult to manage the operations and give salaries. And there was a day when my wife came to me and she said, "Praveen, there is one meeting in Bandra, BKC. There's a place called BKC in Mumbai where most of the offices they have." And she said, "Praveen, you have to go for this meeting." I said, "Of course, this is an important meeting. Let me go." And then I said, "There's a problem." But she said, "What problem?" I said, "I don't even have 20 rupees in a pocket to buy a local train ticket." So I remember I going back to my home, because that day my office was very close, because actually the office was in the same buildings near Gala. If you see in any big buildings, ground floor is Galas. So my office was smaller than the current conference room where I'm sitting right now. So and I went to my home and I started searching. I opened the door and my son was 6 years old. In those days, he was sitting down, because by that time we had sold everything. We had sold not only the gold, and we started selling this, maybe the sofa, the refrigerator, the fridge, everything we had sold to manage that small business. And already we had lost all our savings in building that portal. And I started searching for that 20 rupees at in hall first. I didn't get it. Then I opened the kitchen. I started searching for the 20 rupees in kitchen. It was not there. Then I opened the bedroom. Even if you come to my home, and I love to
Mm-hmm.
have you at my home, even if you
Yes.
open the my bedroom's door,
Yeah. I would be probably coming to Mumbai next month. So
definitely,
sure, we
please,
gotta catch up.
please come. So even if you come today and open the door, you will see a small, yellow color round piggy bank of my 6 years old son still there. And
Ah.
that day I just entered the bedroom, I locked the bedroom from inside, and Vijay, that day I just robbed that piggy bank for that 20 rupees. I
Hmm.
still remember when I was just going out from the main door, my son said, Dad. And for a moment I thought he caught me red-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking on the road, little tears in my eyes, and that was the heaviest walk I've ever taken in my life because of the
Sure.
weight of the coins in my pocket. And
Yeah.
in the evening, when me and my wife were sitting together, we were talking to each other. We had all the option of giving up that day because that was a limit. There was
Yeah.
an emotional limit for us to do anything. Because imagine a parent's robbing the piggy bank of his son and going for a meeting. And
Hmm.
we said, no, we thought, okay, let's go back because we left the job at very good stage. It was not that we were not doing good in our life in job, and no, that's why we left the job. So
Mm-hmm.
the people were there to take us back again. And we had all the options of going back to our jobs, but still then we decided, no, we will not give up. Let's try. And then we decided to shut that business. And then
Okay.
we learned that let's do something which we have learned last 20 years, marketing. So if you see the current company, Techizer is a company which provide a technological solution to marketing teams of pharmaceutical companies.
Hmm.
And wherever we have
Hmm.
reached today, whether we have a team of 75 people or we are operating in India, Dubai, South Korea, Sri Lanka, wherever we have reached today is just because of that evening we
Mm-hmm.
decided not to give up.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome. I mean, it takes guts, right? To both of you quitting the job and then sitting home and starting your business and then coming to that decision
yes,
of giving up on that job.
yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty tough phase of your life. And I think that was the biggest challenge that you have faced in your life. Is there any other challenges or failures that you want to share?
Yeah. So rather than failure, I would say my understanding of entrepreneurship has completely changed. As
Mm-hmm.
a solo traveler, I do a solo travel every 3 to 4 months. I just go 4 to 5 days out, and
Mm-hmm.
no connection with this world, and I just no mobile, nothing, and I just travel. And this
Mm-hmm.
realization was there in one of my solo traveler when I was just sitting near a lake. There are two types of travelers, and if you understand this, you will understand your personality. And if you understand your personality, it will help you to understand whether you should do business or job in your life. So there are two types of solo travelers. One, imagine one guy who will see a lake, a beautiful lake. He will put his bag down, pitch the tent, and maybe if he has 4 days, he will spend all 4 days in front of that beautiful lake. That is
Mm-hmm.
one. The person who
Mm-hmm.
likes stability,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nothing wrong and right here. There's a personality of that person that he likes stability. Another type of traveler is just like me, who will reach that lake. Okay, beautiful lake. I will put my bag. I will pitch my tent, or I will sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I will move. Even I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where I will be after few hours. The
Mm-hmm.
person who likes instability.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with the liking stability or instability, but job and entrepreneurship is all about stability and instability. In job, everything is stable and certain.
Perfect
You
example.
know where you will be after 3 years, 4 years. You know what bank balance you will have. You know which car will be in front of your door. My plus minus 10% deviation, if you're doing good in your life, you will not go wrong.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship is absolute instability. The car which I have, I don't know whether I will have a better car than this, or even I will go back to smaller car. The flat I am staying, I don't know whether I will have a better flat or I will go back to a smaller flat. Once you start enjoying instability and uncertainty in your life, that is entrepreneurship. But I'm ready for both the things. I'm ready for high also, I'm ready for low also. I will enjoy that also, I will enjoy this also. Once
Hmm.
you start enjoying this mindset, entrepreneurship is the place, business is the place where you should live your life. Right? But if you like stability, be in job. Life is stable, certain. Everything is certain there. Nothing right and wrong. But once you understand your personality, you can change your career. You can plan your career. So this is understanding which I live with, and I'm a guy who love, and I do this in my work also. How do I start my work? Now, once I finish this, talk,
Mm-hmm.
I have 7 to 8 core responsibilities in my work every day. So what I do, I have made a small chit of 7 to 8 works.
Mm-hmm.
Example, I have to spend 1 hour with my managers. That is one core responsibility. So like this, I have 7 to 8 chits in my small box. So I come every day in the morning, I just throw the chits, I pick one chit. I don't know what I will be doing next
Okay.
because I
Okay.
like that. So I do that, then I pick the next chit. I don't know what I will be doing next. So two things happening here. I'm doing something which is matching or helping my personality. And second thing, I'm making sure that all my core responsibilities I'm taking one step further today. I'm
Hmm.
spending at least half an hour, 1 hour on this core responsibility.
And you are not sure what might come
I don't
next.
know what will be I'm doing next. Of course, there will be some emergency work and all those. That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
part and
yeah.
parcel. But I make it a point that I use my personality. No, I understand my personality and I use that to improve the productivity in my life.
Wow. So let's talk about Praveen as a speaker, public speaker. You have stood as a speaker of the day 9 times out of 10 at Mumbai Toastmaster Club. Interesting. Was
Yes,
that a competent communicator module of Toastmasters or another one?
So 9 out of 10 time was around 8 to 9 months ago. If you see the current, I have given around 18
Mm-hmm.
speeches, and out of that, 17 times I've won the best speech of the day award.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Thank you. And I'm doing now. I completed my CC, that is competitive communicator, and I've completed my storytelling manual also, 5 speeches, and I'm doing now entertaining manual.
Wow.
So I will be completing my silver maybe within 15 days.
Wow, awesome, awesome.
So, and I remember that day, our family was sitting together and we were just discussing, let's discuss which are the 3 best decisions of your life. And out of, the third decision, of course, 2 were different, but one decision was, for me, the main decision was joining Toastmaster Club. One of the best decisions of my life. Because, Toastmasters actually helped me to understand that, yes, even I can share and win.
Hmm.
And I remember all 18 speeches are stories for me. And what do you mean by stories? Stories in the sense something which has happened with me or around me and I've learned something from it and it's worth sharing with the world. That's a story for me. So it has to be truth. And it has really helped me to develop the skills. I'm still learning that skills, but to develop the skills of picking one incident from your life and converting that into a story and sharing with the world.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, responsibility of everyone, because we learn so much from our life, and if it is worth sharing with the world, it has to be shared. And this is exactly even your platform is. What is your platform? It's a platform where people are just sharing stories and people are learning from each other. So what I realized in the journey of 1.5 years of Toastmaster is storytelling is just not a skill; it's a responsibility. And I've heard some amazing stories during this journey. And I also teach storytelling to kids. I must share this story with you, Vijay.
Yeah.
I was teaching to kids storytelling, and I was just sensitizing and motivating them to come on the stage and share their stories. And one girl shared a story. She was 13 years old, and she was standing in front of us, and she said, when I was 7 years old, my grandfather, he got paralyzed. His half body was completely paralyzed. And he was always shouting, screaming, and me and my parents, we were thinking that, especially I was thinking that why he's there at my home? He's bringing so much of stress in my home. And I didn't used to like him. But then one day, suddenly I decided that let me sit beside him. And after a long time, I sat beside him. And for the first time, he just pat my shoulder. He just cleared my hairs from my forehead. And he smiled. And for the first time in my life, I realized that he loves me, he cares for me. And after that, within a week, he died. Now, the reason why that lady was 13 years old girl was sharing this story with us, because she said that there are people in your life who might not be in good condition, but just love them. Because no, maybe once you realize that you love them or they love you, it's too late.
Mm.
Now imagine a 13 years old girl sharing this story and giving this message to us. It's like, so I've learned some amazing stories in my last 1.5 years journeys of as a storyteller.
Oh.
And we learn a lot from it.
Mm-hmm. So since you have done these a lot of talks, and you have even 2 times you have given TEDx talks, right?
Correct,
so
correct.
you have been a public speaker. So what makes a great speech?
Okay, that's a very interesting question.
And I know that Toastmasters would love talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you what makes a great speech. See, if after your speech, after your presentation, doesn't matter whether you are where you are giving this presentation, very at office or maybe in public forum, after your presentation, just stop there for some time, right? If audience is coming to you, I'm not saying all the audience. If few people are coming to you, okay, let's make a scale of 1 to 5. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
five is the best and 1 is the less. So if people are not coming to you, you give yourself 0 because you have not made audience comfortable even to come to you and approach you, right? So you just give yourself 0.
Alright.
If people are coming to you, people are coming to you and saying this, thank you very much for coming here, then you consider yourself that your speech is 1 on the scale of 1 to 5.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If people are coming to you and saying this, we liked you, I like the way you spoke, I like your body language, then you consider yourself maybe 3 out of 5.
Mhm.
If people are coming to you after your speech and they talk about your message,
Mm.
like this is the wow, good message you have given. Thank you very much. I resonate. This has happened with me. If they start sharing something about their life which is connected with your message, you give yourself 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the ultimate speech is if you see people coming to you and they have acted on your message. Let me give an example. Let me elaborate on this. When I gave my TEDx talk, and I was just standing there along with other speakers and audience, few people were coming to us and speaking. One guy came to me and he said, "Sir, many people came to me, and I attended many conferences, many talks, but it never happened in my life. I always used to think that I should go and approach the speaker and talk. But I used to think what others will say. They say what is going and standing and speaking with them.
Yeah.
After listening to your talk, this time I decided, no, let me go and let me speak to the speakers. If people are taking action on your message, you have got 5 out of 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is the answer to your question. What makes a great speech? If people are taking action on your message.
I think that this scale is practical in terms. If your speech was spectacular, if people loved your speech, they are definitely come up there and tell you how they feel and did they resonate with your message and all those stuff. So we are coming to an end of this round, and after that we'll start with the enlightening round. So before we move on to enlightening round, can you share a bit about Stop Taking Medicines? This is your book, and what is this all about?
Okay. If you see my healthcare journey, I've spent around 16 years now. And initial 10 years I was in job. And if you analyze those 10 years, out of those 10 years, 8 years I've spent time in a therapy called HIV and AIDS. So in HIV and AIDS, I was initially in sales, so I used to sell these medicines, and after that I was in marketing, so I used to develop strategies to sell these medicines in marketing. And in HIV and AIDS, I have seen people dying just because they miss their medicines. Wow. Yeah, because it is very important, essential. If someone is suffering from AIDS, they have to take these medicines on time because this virus is very dangerous. If you don't take medicine this on time, it replicates. It's just like a spring. Your medicine is just pressing that spring. You remove the hand and the spring will bounce back. And later on, I realized, when I've seen this pain, later on, I realized that this non-adherence, in scientific word, it's called non-adherence to medicine, is there in every disease. Even in diabetes, even in hypertension. Now in India, we are not very aware about this, but if you see in US, they have done a very organized studies on non-adherence. And they say that every 5 minutes, one person is dying in US because of non-adherence related issues. Now understand, the health literacy is much higher in US compared to India. So if every 5 minutes one person is dying there, imagine what is seen in India. I have seen many people, going for angioplasty, and then when we meet them, they said, "I wish I could have not stopped my medicines. And just because I stopped my medicines, I'll end up in this critical or dangerous situation." So I thought there has to be something which can sensitize people to understand this topic, and the strategies which can help them to improve medicine adherence. So I decided to write a book on this. I met a lot of doctors, I met a lot of patients, and this book is all about various strategies which can help them to improve medicine adherence. So, and if I have to give one strategy, now especially in diabetes and hypertension, people have to take medicines lifelong. Correct? Now, if they understand that which medicines they are taking and how it works, and what will happen if they don't take this medicine, even if they have this basic information, even that information will improve adherence. Because what is happening currently, medicines are complete strangers for patients. They don't even try to understand that what kind of medicines they are taking. That's why we have launched a website called readmyrx.com, which is an absolutely free website where people can just go type the name of the medicine which they are taking, and they can understand that medicine in their regional language. Because in India, there is no logic of teaching people in English. Right? My dad doesn't understand. He's taking medicine amlodipine for last so many years. And, there is a pack insert in amlodipine, amlopress, but he doesn't understand English. So if you go on readmyrx.com, you can just put the medicine name and then you can read in your language. So my dad can read in Marathi that what kind of medicine he's taking. So there are various strategies. The first strategy is health literacy. So this book is all about these strategies which can help patients to improve and take medicines on time.
All right. So guys, if you are having some kind of issue with adherence and consequences and all those stuff, make sure that you check Praveen's book, and I have linked everything, even the website that he just mentioned and the book that his books and links to his website and everything I have included on the show notes of this episode over at theinspiringtalk.com/23, that is 23. All right, so now it's time for the enlightening round. So Praveen, are you excited about the enlightening round?
I'm always excited, Vijay.
Wow, what inspires you to do everything that you do?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. What inspires me? I think the best thing which is really inspiring me nowadays, which I've started practicing around 15 days ago, or not 15 days, it's almost a month now. I made a video also on this. That life is all about executing the first thought. If you can execute your first thought, it means you're living in the moment. There is a big, very famous TED talk on this, and they did a study to find that what is the best way to stay happy. And they found that people who stay in the moment, they stay happy. And I learned recently that how to stay in the moment, and that is really inspiring for me. And when I started doing this, I'm happy every moment, and that is executing the first thought. What is coming in your mind? Just execute that. Let me give you one example. Imagine that you are traveling in the train, and you are very hungry. And you have nothing in your bag, and then you see your co-passenger opening a tiffin which is full of paratha, and you love paratha. Now the first thought will come in your mind that I wish you can share one with me. But will you execute that thought? You will not.
No.
Because the second thought will come, what if he says no? What people are watching? Last time I saw someone asking for this, then the person said big no. So your first thought will be killed by your second, third, fourth, fifth thought. But all this second, third, fourth is all about future or past. Your first thought is the present. I remember doing this when I was traveling in the train. I was hungry. Someone opened the tiffin. I looked at him. I said, "Excuse me, your parathas are looking very tempting. Can you share one with me?" And you know what? I ate 2 that day. And we were friends and we were talking. So even you just go to a tea stall after this talk, and if you had tea and you like the tea, the first thought in your mind, tea is good. But are you saying that to that tea guy? That tea is good. I started doing this, and my life is very easy. I'm inspired and motivated and excited at every moment of my life that I'm executing my first thought. Let me give one more example, and I'm so excited, to give this example that I have a very special relationship with my dad. And my dad, I of course respect and love him and he loves me. But I don't remember I hugging my dad anytime in my life. And there are so many relationships like this, especially in this country, where the son and dad or father is always, they have a difference between a physical distance between each other. And a few days ago, I was in Nasik where my parents stay, and when I was going out, and my dad was standing on the road just to wave a hand to say bye to me, and the first thought came in my mind that let me hug him. So in my 38 years, for the first time, I decided to hug him. And it was a very emotional moment. I don't know why, but it was a very emotional moment for both of us. And that one incident has slightly changed our relationship. We were a little close. I'm not saying completely changed, but every time when we meet now, at least we shake hand. I pat on his shoulder. We don't hug every time, but the distance has reduced. But it is possible only because I decided to execute that first thought in my mind that day. That thought came in my mind various times in my life, but because I'm practicing now this, so I think that is just because of this practice. So all I think for everyone, that's whatever you have. First thing, most of the time we all are good souls. We are good people. We don't want to harm anyone. The first thought, try to execute it. It's always good thought.
So which one daily habit do you believe has been game changer in your success journey?
I think one daily habit is listening to books and running together. So as I told you that almost every day I run minimum 4 times and maximum 5 times in a week. But when I'm running, I use Audible book. So when I'm running, if I'm running for 8 kilometers, I run 8 kilometers almost in 1 hour in my practice. So I'm running, so I'm listening to book also.
Yeah, it's so powerful that you get to learn a lot while you are on the move and while you are doing unproductive stuff, and right. So that's one of the reasons that I started this podcast. You just can listen it when you are driving and all those stuff. Anyways, guys, since he has mentioned Audible, that's a collection of audiobooks. So if you'd like to check and get your first free audiobook on Audible, make sure you visit theinspiringtalk.com/audible. That is AUDIBLE. You will get your first free audiobook by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/audible. So Praveen, which one book, according to you, is a must read for everyone looking to make their life better?
That's a very interesting question because there are so many books, but there's a book called The Noticer.
The Noticer?
The Noticer, and then the Noticer Return also.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, it's Andy Andrew. Andy Andrew is one of my very favorite authors. And that book is really very interesting. Noticer also, and the Noticer Return also. So to be very precise to your question, I think these are the 2 books which I really love, and I recommend that people should read.
So Praveen, let's say you have just graduated out of your college, and now you are just starting on your career. And let's say if you have to repeat this whole journey all over again, so what are those 3 things that you think you could have or would have done differently?
Honestly speaking, I'll never do that. Because the guy who always live in the present, I don't know, to be very precise. I think whatever decisions I have made in my life, I feel proud about all these decisions. Whether it's the decisions of starting as a medical representative, or quitting the job, or marrying a girl where parents were saying no. So I don't think so. Whatever happened with me happened good, and whatever will happen with me will happen good.
I'm in peace with myself.
Yes.
I'm happy the way I am. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy.
Yeah, hitting those rock bottoms and failing are also important because you learn a lot from them. And if you had not robbed the piggy bank of a son, maybe you wouldn't have started this company, right? You might have gone back to your job, and awesome. I love that. So Praveen, would you like to share some online tool or app that you think had contributed you or helped you a lot in becoming better?
Yeah. One is, of course, the Audible app. because I've been using this for more than a year now. And the beauty of this app is, of course, you get the first book, and then if you pay even 700 or 800 rupees, you get one book, one credit, and you can take one book. Now, many books, if you buy directly, then they are very costly.
Yeah.
I remember there are few books which are 2,000 and 2,500 rupees. But if you take a proper subscription of Audible, every book is around 700 and 800 rupees for you. And you can listen to it. It's just many people, they have this excuse, which is a correct excuse, that they don't have time to read. But if you have an Audible app, you just while traveling, many of us travel at least half an hour or 1 hour every day.
Yeah.
So so one app is, of course, Audible app. For and another app which I have developed for my own academy, because I have a public speaking academy. There's something called impromptu speaking. So impromptu speaking, like in various situations of your life, you just get the situation and then topic, and you have to speak on it. Those who are Toastmasters, they are aware about it. We call it table topics.
Yeah. I have been on a Toastmasters meet sometime, but I haven't joined that yet. So it's on my top of my list, for quite some time. But again, it's just not working out. Yeah.
I strongly recommend. Please do that. So what I have done, I've created an app, because we are a tech company. So we create mobile applications. So we have created an app called Speak Up. So I start my day with Speak Up, where I just click the first button, and then it will say ask me anything. I click on ask me anything, and then one random topic will be thrown on the screen. And then beautiful. I have to speak on that topic for 2.5 minutes, and the recorder will start automatically. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I start my day with this, because this helps me to organize my thoughts, because speaking is all about standing in front of the people and organizing your thoughts and reproducing those thoughts. So I practice that. So to be very precise to your question, the answer is, one is Audible, and second is Speak Up app, which I use, and I also recommend strongly.
Wow. Awesome. So Praveen, we have come to an end of this interview. So before I ask you the last question, can you share about how can people learn more about you and connect with you, and if they would like to check or read your books, and what's the best way that they can connect with you and learn from you?
One, you can go on my website, praveenwadalkar.com, and there, or you can go on my YouTube channel. You can just type Praveen Wadalkar on YouTube, or you can come to my Facebook page, which is praveenwadalkar.com, or we can connect on LinkedIn also.
Guys, I have included all the links that Praveen mentioned on the show notes of this episode over at theinspiringtalk.com/23, and also make sure to check his YouTube channel, because recently he is on fire. Guys, he's posting a lot of videos on YouTube and Facebook and elsewhere. He's just spreading the knowledge and the expertise that he has got, and the experience and the journey that he has come through in his life. He has started putting them as a videos, so make sure that you go ahead and check them. So here is the last question for you, Praveen.
Yeah, Vijay.
Since you are a speaker and you'd love this question, and imagine that you are standing in front of a stage, you are standing there on to give a talk, and there are millions of people in audience, right? This is, let's say, the biggest stadium ever built on the world, and it's full of audience, right? Every single seats in that stadium are occupied.
Wow.
And then you are there standing in front of the stage, and there you have to share your most important message that you want to give out to the world, and you only have got 1 minute of your time. So what would your message be to those millions of people sitting on that stadium, eagerly waiting to listen to you? What would be your message?
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, if I'm standing in front of millions of people, and if I have to share one message, that message which I have already shared with you is that just live in the moment. Because it is now proven that if you want to stay happy in your life, you have to live in the moment. Now, many times we have heard this, that what do you mean by that you have to live in the moment, don't think about the past, don't think about the future. But what do you mean by living in the moment? Living in the moment is all about executing your first thought. Whatever you have in your mind, just execute thought. If you want to say sorry to someone, that is coming in your mind, say sorry. If you want to say thank you to someone, if that is coming in your mind, say thank you to that person. And most of us are good people. We are good souls, and we don't want to harm anyone. So don't challenge this by saying that, what if my first thought is to harm someone. Most of the time, the thoughts which are harmful to someone are not your first thought. They are second thought or third thought or fourth thought. First thought is always good. So just stay happy, and the easiest way to stay happy in your life is execute your first thought. That will be my simple message to all these millions of people who are standing in front of me right now. Thank you.
That has been phenomenal, Praveen. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you,
It's
Vijay.
an absolute honor in having you here.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to this interview. It means a lot to me. I hope you learned something, and if you did, make sure to share this episode with your friends by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/23 and help them learn as well. And if you are in Mumbai, grab your tickets for one-day podcasting workshop by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/workshop. Use coupon code INSPIRING while checkout to get flat 500 off on the ticket. And finally, as Praveen shared, you are here not to impress anyone. Do not focus on what others think about you. At the end, it's not going to matter at all. Keep doing your thing and do it consistently, and never ever give up. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you in the next. Now go out there and do something inspiring.